Most founders I talk to don't have a discipline problem, they have a decision problem. Think about yesterday, you probably made 100 tiny decisions before lunch. Which marketing copy to use, which DM to answer, or which feature to ship next. And none of them feel like real decisions, but each of them costs a small piece of your focus. And by 4 p.m. you're not tired of your work, you're tired from deciding. And the main difference between the founders who burn out and the founders who last another decade is most of the times not how hard they work, but how smoothly or how cleanly they can decide. So I've been checking out how the best operators actually make decisions. 5 very successful founders and 5 very simple frameworks. And in the next minutes, I'll walk you through all 5 of them and the exact step you can take today. Framework number 1 is the decision journal. It comes from Shaan Parrish, who built Farnham Street, which is one of the most respected decision-making resources in the internet. Read by a lot of CEOs and investors. And it evolves around the idea that hindsight bias quietly destroys your judgment. And the trick to prevent this is actually to take some moments after a non-trivial decision that you made and write down what kind of decision did you take, why did you take it, what kind of data did you use or was it gut feeling, and what do you expect to happen after this decision. And 3 months later, you can actually do the reality check to get a better sense of your judgment and what you really expected to happen and then what happened at the end. And the key insight here is that you stop pretending that you knew it all along, but instead you compound real judgment. Framework number 2 is find the bottleneck and then tackle it. This framework comes from Shaan Puri, who is a successful serial entrepreneur and podcast host of My First Million. And the idea is that most founders spread their effort across 10 different things, but the real winners pick only one. And the tactic is that you constantly scan for the one limiting factor that keeps you away from the next step or from the next most important goal, and then focus fully on it. Because at the end, you probably can carve out the one thing that is preventing you from the next step instead of having like 10 other challenges that might seem important, but aren't as important as the one limiting factor. So the key takeaway here is that you have to name your biggest bottleneck this week and fully focus on it. The third framework is plan day by day. This framework comes from Jason Fried, who is the co-founder and CEO of Basecamp, which is a bootstrapped company that is successful or profitable for over 25 years. And he's also the co-author of several best-selling books. And his hook here is that long-term plans are just fantasies that are dressed up as strategy. And the tactic for you is that you should stop pretending what Q4 or next year looks like and focusing on making the best possible decision tomorrow. Which means let the long-term emerge from a series of good short-term decisions that you take. So the key takeaway for you here is delete your long-term plan and instead focus on the question, what is the best move that I can make tomorrow? Decision framework number 4 is the only way to know is to try. This is based on insights from co-founder and the first CEO of Netflix, Marc Randolph. And he basically says that you should stop debating ideas in meetings and instead just go for it and test them. So when someone in your team suggests something new, a new market, a new trend, a new idea, a new product feature, or you do it by yourself, just think that, okay, this might be a nice idea, but how can I test it in the most cheapest way this week? And the key takeaway for you here is that you should not only rely on the data that you already have or the opinions that you already have, but also try new things very fast to get new insights in new topics, in new terrains, in new areas. And framework number 5 is time block your decisions. And this framework is from Cal Newport, who is a best-selling author and computer science professor, who also wrote Slow Productivity, for example, but also other best-selling books. And the idea is that your to-do list is just a wish list and your calendar is the actual commitment. And the idea is that you assign every task you have to do to a specific block in your calendar during the day. And if this potential new project or commitment or campaign doesn't earn a block in your calendar, it's probably just another task or just another slot in your to-do list and you will never execute on it. And a key takeaway or action step for you here is to move all your priorities into calendar blocks within your work week to see if you actually have space to take on new things or if you're already focusing on the most important ones so you don't have to make decisions whether to take on new stuff or not. So those were the 5 decision-making frameworks from highly successful operators that you can use as a founder. Hope they were helpful, and if you want to get more insights from founders for founders, feel free to subscribe. See you soon.